Train the mind before life tests. You welcome to Inner Power Audio. This is a place for deep audiobooks about self-mastery, discipline, emotional control, focus, and inner strength. If you are here, you are probably not looking for noise. You are not looking for shallow motivation that feels good for 5 minutes and disappears when life gets hard. You are looking for something stronger, something you can carry into pressure, something that helps you become calmer, sharper, and harder to break. If this message helps you think differently, take a moment to like this video. The sons, subscribe to Inner Power Audio for more audiobooks that train the mind from the inside out, and share this with a friend who is going through pressure right now. Sometimes one powerful idea, heard at the right moment, can help someone stand back up. Now listen closely. You do not win every situation by controlling everything around you. You win by training the mind that faces everything around you. Most people spend their lives trying to force the outside world to change. They want people to be fair. They want work to become easier. They want rejection to disappear. They want pressure to wait until they feel ready. They want confidence before the challenge, clarity before the struggle, and proof before the effort. But life rarely gives you perfect conditions. You cannot control every difficult person. You cannot control every unexpected bill. You cannot control whether a boss appreciates your effort, whether a video performs well, whether an interview goes your way, whether someone understands your intention, or whether life gives you the timing you wanted. But you can train your mind, and when the mind is trained, the same situation no longer owns you. A trained mind does not collapse because one person doubts it. It does not panic because the room becomes tense. It does not lose direction because the day becomes uncomfortable. It does not need life to be easy before it acts with strength. It looks at chaos and asks for clarity. It looks at pressure and asks for execution. It looks at failure and asks for feedback. It looks at emotion and asks for wisdom. This audiobook is not about becoming cold. It is not about pretending nothing hurts. It is not about winning by dominating other people. It is about becoming the kind of person who can walk into difficult situations without abandoning yourself inside them. In the chapters ahead, you will learn the foundation of a winning mind. You will learn how to stay strong under pressure, think strategically, make faster decisions, master your emotions, build real confidence, recover from failure, protect deep focus, create momentum through daily standards, understand people without losing yourself, adapt without losing your core, and become independent from the outcome. Treat this as training. Do not just listen for inspiration. Listen for one idea you can apply today. One pause before reacting. One decision made faster. One difficult task completed. One distraction removed. One standard kept when your mood tries to negotiate. Because life will test you. It may test you through pressure at work. It may test you through silence after you put your best effort into something. It may test you through rejection, criticism, delay, fatigue, competition, or uncertainty. The question is not whether pressure will come. The question is whether your mind will be ready when it does. Before you can win in any situation, you must first build the foundation of a winning mind. Chapter 01. The foundation of a winning mind. A winning mind does not begin with better circumstances. It begins with a better interpretation. Two people can face the same problem and live in two completely different worlds. One sees the problem as proof that life is against them. The other sees the problem as a signal to adjust. One asks, "Why does this always happen to me?" The other asks, "What can I do with what is in front of me?" That question is not small. It separates helplessness from ownership. Imagine someone gets criticized during a team meeting. The untrained mind immediately turns the moment into a personal attack. It replays the words all day. It feels embarrassed. It becomes defensive. It thinks, "They don't respect me. They made me look bad. I hate this place." The winning mind still feels the sting, but it asks a cleaner question. What part of this feedback is useful? What can I improve? What response would make me stronger, not smaller? That is the first foundation. Ownership. Ownership does not mean everything is your fault. It means your response is your responsibility. It means you stop waiting for the world to become fair before you act with discipline. It means you stop handing your power to other people's moods, opinions, timing, or behavior. Blame may protect your ego for a moment, but it weakens your future. Because if everything is someone else's fault, then nothing is in your hands. And if nothing is in your hands, you cannot change. A winning mind does not deny reality. It does not pretend hard things are easy. It simply refuses to become powerless inside difficult things. It says, this is real. This is uncomfortable. But what is still mine to control? That question brings your strength back. The second foundation is solution focus. Most people give too much energy to describing the problem. They repeat it to themselves. They explain it to friends. They replay it while driving, while eating, while trying to sleep. They turn one event into a mental movie and watch it again and again. But describing a problem is not the same as solving it. A winning mind looks at the problem directly, then turns toward movement. If your video gets low views, the untrained mind says, nobody cares. This will never work. The trained mind says, what can I improve in the hook, title, thumbnail, pacing, or topic? If you break your diet on the weekend, the untrained mind says, I ruined everything. The trained mind says, what environment made that easy and what system do I need next weekend? If you are rejected from a job, the untrained mind says, I am not good enough. The trained mind says, what skill, interview answer, or opportunity pipeline needs to improve? Solution focus is not positivity. It is discipline of attention. It teaches the mind to stop worshiping the obstacle and start searching for the next useful move. The third foundation is an inner standard. This is where most people lose. They let circumstances decide who they become. They are disciplined when the day is easy, calm when people are kind, focused when nothing interrupts them, confident when results are good. But a winning mind builds standards that are not controlled by the weather of the day. It says, even when I am tired, I will keep one promise. Even when I am criticized, I will not react from ego. Even when progress is slow, I will continue the process. That is not dramatic strength. That is real strength. The kind built in quiet decisions. Use this drill when life gives you a problem. Write 3 lines. What happened? What can I control? What is my next move? Do not write a long emotional story. Do not defend your ego. Do not build a case against the world. Just return to facts, control, and action. What happened? What can I control? What is my next move? This trains your mind to stop drowning in reaction and start moving with responsibility. You do not win because life becomes easy. You win because your mind becomes trained. And once that foundation is built, life will test it through pressure. Chapter 02. Stay strong under pressure. Pressure does not create weakness. It exposes preparation. Anyone can feel calm when nothing is at stake. Anyone can speak with confidence when there is no risk. Anyone can make clear decisions when the room is quiet, the schedule is open, the people are kind, and the outcome does not matter. But pressure changes the room. The heart beats faster, the body tightens, the mind jumps ahead. A small task suddenly feels heavy because now there is something to lose. This is where most people turn away from the task and toward the ego. They start thinking, how do I look? What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if this proves I am not good enough? That shift is dangerous, because the moment your attention moves from execution to identity, pressure grows. Now you are not simply giving a presentation. You are trying to protect your image. You are not simply having a hard conversation. You are trying to prove your worth. You are not simply competing. You are trying to make the result confirm your value as a person. That is too much weight for one moment to carry. A trained mind brings attention back to the task. If you are in a job interview, the task is not to control whether they hire you. The task is to listen clearly, answer honestly, and represent your value with calm precision. If you are at the gym and the workout feels heavy, the task is not to become a new person in one day. The task is to finish the next set with clean effort. If you are on stage, in a meeting, or recording a video, the task is not to be perfect. The task is to deliver the next line with presence. Pressure shrinks when attention returns to execution. This is why strong performers often seem calm when others panic. It is not because they feel nothing. It is because they know where to place their attention. They ask, "What is required right now?" That question gathers the mind. The second principle is this: competition is not a threat, it is a mirror. Weak thinking hates competition because it turns competition into judgment. It says, if someone is better than me, I am less valuable. A winning mind sees competition differently. Competition reveals your current level. It shows what needs work. It exposes weak preparation. It sharpens focus. It forces honesty. This applies everywhere. At work, someone may be more skilled than you. In business, another creator may move faster. In fitness, someone may be stronger. In communication, someone may speak with more confidence. The untrained mind compares and collapses. The trained mind studies and improves. It says, what can I learn from this? What standard does this reveal? What would the next level require from me? That is how competition becomes training. You do not have to hate the battle. You can use the battle. A trained mind does not only want the trophy, it wants the growth that the challenge demands. Use this drill when pressure rises. The pressure reset. Pause. Take one slow breath. Name the task. Choose one action you can complete in the next 60 seconds. Do not solve the entire future. Do not argue with every fear. Do not imagine every possible result. Just return to one clear action, one sentence, one email, one honest answer, one clean repetition, one next move. Pressure wants to scatter your mind. Training gathers it. You may still feel fear. You may still feel tension. You may still care deeply about the outcome. But you are no longer being dragged by the moment. You are leading yourself through it. Pressure does not break a trained mind. It reveals it. But strength under pressure is not enough. You also need strategy. Chapter 03. Think strategically. Decide fast or busy is not the goal. Effective is the goal. Many people end the day tired but not advanced. They answered messages. They attended meetings. They checked notifications. They handled small tasks. They moved all day, but somehow their life did not move. That is because movement and progress are not the same. A winning mind does not worship activity, it respects direction. Strategy begins with the end. Before you choose what to do today, you must know what you are building. Without a clear destination, every urgent thing will pretend to be important. Every request will pull you. Every idea will look like an opportunity. Every distraction will feel justified. But not every open door belongs to your path. The strategic mind asks one question first. What result am I to create? Not what feels urgent. Not what makes me look busy. Not what is everyone else doing. What result am I trying to create? Once the end is clear, you can reverse engineer the path. If your goal is to grow a YouTube channel, the key move may not be checking analytics 10 times a day. It may be improving topic selection, title strength, thumbnail clarity, retention structure, and consistency. If your goal is to become healthier, the key move may not be reading another fitness post. It may be scheduling workouts, preparing meals, sleeping earlier, and removing the food that keeps pulling you off track. If your goal is financial stability, the key move may not be worrying about money every night. It may be tracking spending, increasing income skills, reducing waste, and building one serious plan. Strategy turns vague desire into designed action. But strategy also requires cutting. Most people do not fail because they have no options. They fail because they refuse to choose. They keep adding commitments, adding tasks, adding tabs, adding goals, adding noise, until their energy is divided into pieces too small to build anything meaningful. A winning mind knows that focus requires subtraction. Cut the task that makes you feel productive but does not create results. Cut the habit that gives comfort today and regret tomorrow. Cut the conversation that drains energy but changes nothing. Cut the project that does not match the season you are in. Strategy is not just knowing what to do. It is knowing what to ignore. The next principle is speed. A good decision made in time is often stronger than a perfect decision made too late. This does not mean being reckless. It means refusing to hide behind endless thinking. Some people call it research, but it is fear. They call it planning, but it is avoidance. They call it waiting for the right time, but it is the ego trying to avoid uncertainty. A trained mind understands that action creates information. You decide, you move, you observe, you adjust. That is how real progress happens. You do not need full certainty to take the next intelligent step. You need enough clarity to move responsibly. Use this drill. End goal, key move, first action. Write the outcome you want. Then write the one move that matters most right now. Then choose one action you can begin within 24 hours. Example, end goal, build a stronger body. Key move, train consistently and control food choices. First action, schedule 3 workouts and prepare tomorrow's first meal. Another example, end goal, improve communication at work. Key move, speak clearly in meetings. First action, prepare 1 point before tomorrow's meeting and say it without apologizing for it. This drill trains the mind to move from desire to design. A winning mind does not ask, how can I do everything? It asks, what matters most right now? Then it moves. Strategy gives you direction, but emotional control keeps you from destroying that direction. Chapter 04. Master your emotions before they master you. Your emotions are real, but they are not always wise. Many people never learn this. They feel something strongly, so they obey it immediately. They feel anger, so they send the message. They feel fear, so they avoid the opportunity. They feel embarrassment, so they disappear. They feel jealousy, so they compare. They feel rejected, so they chase approval or shut down completely. The untrained mind treats emotion as command. The trained mind treats emotion as information. That difference changes your life. Fear may tell you that something matters. Anger may show you that a boundary has been touched. Sadness may reveal what you valued. Anxiety may point toward uncertainty. But no emotion should automatically become your next action. If every feeling becomes a command, you are not free. You are being led by whatever rises inside you. Emotional mastery is not suppression, it is leadership. You are not trying to become numb. You are not trying to pretend nothing hurts. You are not trying to smile through everything and call it strength. You are learning to feel fully without reacting blindly. There is a space between what happens and what you do next. For many people, that space is almost invisible. Someone criticizes them, and they defend themselves instantly. A partner says something painful, and they attack. A plan fails, and they spiral. A post performs badly, and they decide they are not good enough. No pause, no observation, no choice. A winning mind widens that space. That space is power. Because inside that space, you can ask better questions. What am I feeling? What is this emotion trying to protect? Is this about the present moment or an old wound? What action will I respect tomorrow? That last question matters. Because many emotional reactions feel satisfying for 10 seconds and cost you for months. The sharp reply, the impulsive decision, the unnecessary argument, the quit moment, the promise made under pressure, the silence used as punishment. The trained mind does not ask, what do I feel like doing right now? It asks, what action protects my future? This is where emotional control becomes practical. If anger rises, you do not have to explode. You can ask, what boundary needs to be communicated clearly? If fear rises, you do not have to retreat. You can ask, what preparation would make this less dangerous? If envy rises, you do not have to hate the person ahead of you. You can ask, what does their progress show me is possible? If disappointment rises, you do not have to make it your identity. You can ask, what lesson is available here? Use the drill, pause, name it, question it, choose. Pause means you do not act immediately. Name it means you identify the emotion clearly. This is anger, this is fear, this is embarrassment, this is pressure. Question it means you refuse to obey blindly. You ask, is this emotion giving me useful information, or is it trying to control me? Choose means you act from clarity, not ego, not panic, not impulse. Clarity. This simple sequence can protect your relationships, your career, your health, your reputation, and your peace. The world will continue to trigger you. People will speak carelessly. Plans will change. Results will disappoint you. Some days, even your own mind will become loud. But you do not have to obey every internal storm. Feel it, understand it, but do not hand it the steering wheel. That is emotional mastery. And when emotions stop controlling your actions, real confidence can finally begin. Chapter 05. Build real confidence. Through evidence, confidence is not something you claim, it is something your actions prove. Many people try to build confidence by repeating words they do not believe. They stand in front of a mirror and say, I am strong, I am successful, I can do anything. There is nothing wrong with encouraging yourself, but words without evidence are fragile. The mind listens to what you do more than what you say. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, the mind records it. If you keep quitting when things become difficult, the mind records it. If you keep avoiding the task, delaying the decision, skipping the practice, and returning to old patterns, the mind records all of it. Then one day you wonder why you do not trust yourself. Real confidence is built through evidence. Every kept promise is evidence. Every completed task is evidence. Every difficult conversation handled with maturity is evidence. Every workout finished when you wanted to skip is evidence. Every time you return after failure, you create evidence. And slowly, your mind begins to believe a new story. Not because you forced it, because you proved it. This is the difference between fake confidence and earned confidence. Fake confidence needs attention. It performs. It wants to look strong. It feels threatened when someone else succeeds because it has no deep root. Earned confidence is quieter. It knows what it has practiced. It knows what it has survived. It knows what it has completed. It does not need to prove itself every minute because it has a private record. A trained mind builds confidence from competence. If you want to feel more confident, become more capable. Do not chase the feeling first. Build the skill. Put in the repetitions, improve the ability, study the system. Practice the uncomfortable thing until your nervous system learns that you can handle it. If you want confidence in interviews, practice answering difficult questions. If you want confidence in fitness, train consistently. If you want confidence in your work, build skill until your results become harder to ignore. If you want confidence in communication, practice speaking clearly instead of hoping confidence appears at the exact moment you need it. Confidence follows proof. The second source is kept promises. This is personal. When you tell yourself you will wake up early and you do not, it matters. When you say you will finish a project and you avoid it, it matters. When you say you will stop a destructive habit and then return to it without reflection, it matters. Not because one mistake destroys you, but because repeated broken promises weaken self-trust. Small promises rebuild it. Read 5 pages. Walk 10 minutes. Finish one important task before entertainment. Write for 20 minutes. Clean the room before bed. Prepare tomorrow's plan. These actions may look small, but they say something powerful to the mind. I can count on me. That sentence is the root of confidence. Use the evidence log. At the end of each day, write 3 lines. One thing I completed today. One moment I stayed disciplined. One difficult thing I handled better than before. Keep it simple. Do not write to impress anyone. Write to remind your mind who you are becoming. After 30 days, you will have 90 pieces of evidence. After 90 days, you will have 270. That record becomes a weapon against doubt. When fear says, "You never follow through," answer with proof. When pressure says, "You cannot handle this," answer with proof. When the old identity says, "You are still the same," answer with proof. Confidence is not imagined. Confidence is earned. And the strongest confidence does not come from never falling. It comes from knowing you can recover when you do. Chapter 06. Turn failure into fuel. Failure is not a verdict. It is data. This idea can change the way you move through life. Most people experience failure as a judgment on their identity. They fail at a project and think, "I am a failure." They get rejected and think, "I am not enough." They make a mistake and think, "This proves I cannot do it." That is dangerous thinking. Because if failure becomes your identity, you stop learning from it. You either collapse under shame or defend yourself so strongly that you cannot see the lesson. A winning mind separates the event from the identity. The event is, the plan did not work. The identity is not, I am worthless. The event is, I lost the opportunity. The identity is not, I have no future. The event is, I made a mistake. The identity is not, I am broken. This separation gives you power. Because once failure is no longer a verdict, you can read it as information. What did this reveal? What skill is missing? What assumption was wrong? What needs to improve? What warning did I ignore? What should I do differently next time? These questions turn pain into instruction. And that is what strong people do. They do not pretend failure feels good. It does not. Rejection can sting. Losing can feel heavy. Watching something fail after real effort can make you question everything. You are allowed to feel that. But you are not allowed to live there forever. A creator posts a video and it performs badly. The untrained mind says, "I am terrible at this." The trained mind says, "The market gave feedback. Was the topic clear? Was the hook strong? Did the thumbnail create curiosity? Did the pacing hold attention?" An employee gets passed over for a promotion. The untrained mind says, "They do not value me." The trained mind asks, what skill, relationship, visibility, or leadership behavior needs to improve? An athlete loses a match. The untrained mind says, "I am not good enough." The trained mind reviews preparation, execution, endurance, and decision-making. Failure becomes useful only when the mind stays open. The second principle is recovery speed. The speed at which you return matters. Some people lose once and stay down for years. Not physically, but mentally. They keep replaying the same moment. They use one failure as proof that they should never try again. A trained mind grieves, reviews, learns, and returns. Use the 24-hour recovery protocol. Feel, review, learn, return. Feel means you allow the disappointment to exist. Do not pretend, do not fake strength. Give the emotion a limited space. Review means you look at the facts, no drama. No self-attack, no blaming everyone else. Learn means you extract one useful lesson, not 10 vague lessons. One lesson that changes future behavior. Return means you take one action that puts you back in motion. Send the email, rewrite the plan, apply again, train again, publish again, start again. Action closes the loop. Without action, reflection becomes rumination. You are not meant to sit forever inside the analysis of your pain. You are meant to turn the lesson into movement. Failure does not automatically make you stronger. Failure strengthens the person who studies it. Fall once, learn once, return stronger. To return stronger, protect the one thing every result depends on. Your focus. Chapter 07. Protect deep focus. Focus is not a mood, it is a protected environment. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you own, and every day the world tries to take it. Notifications, short videos, messages, news, arguments, algorithms, other people's opinions. Other people's emergencies, other people's success, other people's drama. Everything wants a piece of your mind. And if you give your mind away all day, do not be surprised when you have no energy left for your own life. Most people do not fail because they have no potential. They fail because their attention is rented by noise. They start the day with their phone. They check messages before checking their mind. They consume other people's lives before directing their own. They open one tab, then another, then another. They work for 5 minutes, switch, return, check something, respond to something, forget what mattered, then call it a busy day. But busy is not deep. A winning mind respects depth. Deep focus means you give one important task your full attention long enough for quality to appear. This is rare now, and because it is rare, it is powerful. The first principle is elimination. You cannot focus deeply if everything is allowed to interrupt you. You must remove friction from the right action and add friction to the wrong one. Put the phone in another room. Close the extra tabs. Turn off notifications. Clean the desk. Set one target. Tell people when you are unavailable. Protect the block of time like it matters, because it does. The second principle is single tasking. Multitasking makes people feel productive, but it often lowers the quality of thought. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a cost. You may not notice it immediately, but you feel it by the end of the day. Mental fatigue, shallow work, half-finished tasks. A sense of motion without satisfaction. Single tasking feels slower at first, but it produces better work. One task, one block, one result. The third principle is priority. You cannot protect focus unless you know what deserves it. Ask yourself each morning, what is the one task that would make this day meaningful if completed? Not 10 tasks. 1. This does not mean you only do one thing all day. It means you know which thing matters most. Do that thing before the world fills your mind with noise. Use the one target rule, one goal, one time block, one clear result. For example, from 8 to 9:30, I will write the first draft. From 6 to 7, I will train at the gym. From 7:30 to 8, I will plan the week. During that block, no phone, no checking, no switching, no entertainment pretending to be a break, just the work. At first, your mind will resist. It will ask for stimulation. It will want to check something. It will invent reasons to stop. That is normal. You are not only training focus, you are detoxing from distraction. Stay. Let the mind settle. Focus deepens after the first wave of discomfort, and when you finish, notice the feeling. Not the cheap rush of distraction, but the quiet respect that comes from completing something real. Guard your attention, or your life will be controlled by noise. Once your focus is protected, the next step is building momentum through standards. Chapter 08. Build momentum. Through daily standards, motivation gets you started sometimes. Standards keep you moving when motivation disappears. Most people wait to feel inspired before they act. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right confidence, the right sign, and while they wait, time keeps moving. A winning mind understands that action often comes before motivation. You do not wait until you feel strong to train. Training makes you stronger. You do not wait until you feel clear to plan. Planning creates clarity. You do not wait until you feel confident to begin. Beginning creates evidence. This is how momentum works. One action creates movement. Movement creates energy. Energy creates belief. Belief makes the next action easier. Then the next. Then the next. Momentum starts small. Write 200 words, walk 10 minutes, read 5 pages, clean one part of the room, send one message, do one set, make one decision. Small actions are not small when they break paralysis. The second principle is daily standards. A goal is something you want to reach. A standard is how you agree to live. A goal says, I want to be fit. A standard says, I move my body every day. A goal says, I want to become a better creator. A standard says, I create before I consume. A goal says, I want a calmer mind. A standard says, I do not start my morning inside other people's noise. Goals give direction. Standards create identity. This is why excellent people do not depend on emotional intensity. They build systems that carry them when emotions are weak. They have a time. They have a place. They have a minimum action. They have a way to return after a bad day. That last part is important. Momentum is not destroyed by one imperfect day. It is destroyed by the story you tell after the imperfect day. If you miss one workout and say, "I failed, so it is over," you break the chain mentally. If you miss one day and say, "Return tomorrow," the identity survives. The trained mind does not demand perfection. It demands return. Use the minimum standard drill. Choose one small action that must happen every day, even on difficult days. It should be small enough that excuses become weak, but meaningful enough that it builds identity. Read 5 pages. Walk 10 minutes, plan tomorrow before bed. Write 200 words, do 10 minutes of focused work, stretch for 5 minutes. Review your day in 3 lines. The point is not the size, the point is the proof. Every day you complete the minimum standard, you tell your mind, "This is who I am." Over time, the standard rises naturally. 5 pages become 10, 10 minutes become 30, one focused block becomes 2. But do not rush the identity. Build the chain first. Momentum is sacred because it makes discipline easier. Once you are moving, it takes less energy to continue than to restart from zero. Protect that movement. Do not let one bad mood cancel your standard. Do not let one busy day erase your identity. Do not let the need for perfection stop the power of consistency. Excellence is not a mood. Excellence is a system. But winning in life is not only about managing yourself. You must also understand people without losing yourself. Chapter 09. Read people without losing yourself. A winning mind understands people, but it does not lose itself trying to please them. This distinction matters. Some people study psychology because they want control. They want to manipulate, predict, pressure, or win social games. That is not strength. That is insecurity wearing a mask. The trained mind studies people for a different reason: to see clearly, to communicate wisely, to protect peace, to build trust where trust is earned, to avoid surrendering power to words that are not backed by behavior. You do not need to become suspicious of everyone. You need to become observant. Most people listen only to words. A winning mind watches patterns. Words are easy. Promises are easy. Apologies are easy. Confidence is easy to perform for a moment. Patterns reveal more. How does a person act when they do not get what they want? How do they speak about people who cannot benefit them? Do their actions match their promises? Do they respect boundaries? Do they take responsibility when they are wrong? Do they only show kindness when it gives them something? These questions help you see reality, not with bitterness, with clarity. The second principle is that influence is not manipulation. Real influence comes from credibility, value, and trust. If you want people to listen to you, become someone whose words have weight. Do what you say. Speak clearly. Understand what the other person needs. Create outcomes where both sides benefit. Win-win is not weakness, it is intelligent strength. Manipulation tries to force a short-term result. Influence builds long-term trust. And trust is far more powerful. In business, leadership, relationships, and communication, people feel the difference. They can sense when you are trying to use them. They can also sense when you bring real value. A trained mind chooses value. The third principle is staying centered around difficult people. Some people will try to pull you into their emotional world. They may use guilt, pressure, criticism, charm, anger, silence, or confusion. If you are not centered, you will react to every shift in their energy. You will over-explain. You will defend too much. You will chase approval. You will say yes when your body knows the answer should be no. You will confuse intensity with truth. The winning mind stays centered. It observes without absorbing. It listens without surrendering judgment. It cares without becoming controlled. Use this drill. Watch 4 things: words, actions, incentives, patterns. Words show what a person wants you to believe. Actions show what they actually choose. Incentives show what they are rewarded by. Patterns show who they are over time. Do not judge a person from one moment if you can observe the pattern. But do not ignore the pattern because one moment was charming. This skill protects you. It helps you choose better partners, better friends, better clients, better collaborators, and better boundaries. But remember, the goal is not to become cold. The goal is to stay awake. Understand people, but do not surrender your center. And when people change, markets change, and life changes, you need one more skill: adaptation. Chapter 10. Adapt without losing your core. The world changes whether you approve or not. Technology changes, industries change, relationships change, opportunities change, the economy changes, your body changes, your goals change. The version of you that succeeded in one season may not be enough for the next one. This is why adaptability matters. But adaptability does not mean having no values. It does not mean chasing every trend, copying every person, or abandoning your principles whenever life becomes uncomfortable. A winning mind knows the difference between a core value and a method. A value is something you stand on. A method is something you use. Values can remain steady. Methods must be upgraded. You can value discipline and still change your schedule. You can value honesty and still improve the way you communicate. You can value excellence and still learn a new tool. You can value focus and still change your strategy when the old one stops working. The danger is attaching your identity to a method. Some people do something one way for so long that they begin to think the method is who they are. Then, when life requires change, they resist. Not because the new way is wrong, but because their ego feels threatened. They say, "This is how I have always done it." That sentence can become a cage. A trained mind does not protect an outdated method just to protect pride. It asks, what is still true? What no longer works? What must I learn next? This is not weakness. This is intelligence. The second principle is learning faster than the situation changes. In a fast world, the ability to learn may be more valuable than what you already know. Knowledge can expire. Strategies can become outdated. Tools can be replaced. But the ability to observe, learn, adjust, and apply remains powerful. Do not fear being a beginner. Fear being too proud to become one again. Every new level will make you a beginner somewhere. New job, new skill, new business model, new relationship pattern, new level of responsibility, new version of your body, new season of life. The ego hates being new, but growth requires it. The third principle is this: keep your principles, upgrade your strategy. This protects you from two extremes. One extreme is rigidity. You refuse to change anything, so life moves past you. The other extreme is instability. You change everything so often that you have no foundation. The winning mind avoids both. It stays rooted and flexible, rooted in values, flexible in methods. Use the keep, cut, change drill. Keep what is still valuable and must remain. Cut what is draining energy, wasting time, or slowing progress. Change what needs to be upgraded now, for example. Keep my commitment to deep work. Cut checking analytics 10 times a day. Change, improve my script structure and publishing system. Or keep my health goal. Cut late night snacking. Change, prepare meals earlier and sleep on time. Adaptation is not random change. It is intelligent adjustment. Stay rooted in your values. Stay flexible in your methods. At the highest level, the trained mind learns one final skill: giving everything to the process without being owned by the outcome. Chapter 11. Become unstoppable through outcome independence. Outcome independence does not mean you do not care. It means the outcome does not own you. This is one of the highest forms of mental strength. Weak thinking says, if I win, I am valuable. If I lose, I am nothing. A trained mind says, I will give everything to the process. I will learn from the result, but I will not hand my identity to the outcome. This matters because outcomes are never fully under your control. You can prepare for the interview, but you cannot control every decision the company makes. You can create the video, but you cannot control the algorithm. You can train hard, but you cannot control every comparison. You can speak with honesty, but you cannot control how every person receives it. You can build the business, but you cannot control every market condition. Your job is not to control everything. Your job is to control what is yours: effort, preparation, attitude, learning, consistency, integrity, return. These are yours. The outcome is partly yours and partly life's. When you understand this, you become dangerous in the best way, because you can work hard without desperation. You can care deeply without becoming fragile. You can pursue big goals without needing every result to confirm your worth. This is freedom. Most people are emotionally chained to outcomes. If they get praise, they feel powerful. If they get ignored, they feel invisible. If they win, they feel worthy. If they lose, they feel broken. Their identity rises and falls with feedback. That is an exhausting way to live. Outcome independence gives you stability. You still review results. You still care about improvement. You still measure what matters. But you do not let one result become the judge of your entire self. If the result is good, you learn. If the result is bad, you learn. If people clap, you continue. If no one notices, you continue. If progress is fast, you stay disciplined. If progress is slow, you stay disciplined. This is how you become difficult to stop. Not because every door opens, but because closed doors do not destroy your center. The second principle is loving the process. If you only love the result, every day before the result feels like suffering. But if you learn to respect the process, every repetition has meaning. The workout matters before the body changes. The writing matters before the audience grows. The practice matters before the skill is recognized. The discipline matters before the reward appears. Use the effort score drill. At the end of the day, ask 3 questions. Did I show up fully? Did I act with discipline? Did I learn something useful? Score the day based on effort, not only outcome. This trains your mind to respect what you control. It also prevents emotional collapse when results take time. And results often take time. The strongest people are not strong because they always get what they want immediately. They are strong because they can keep building without constant applause. They can work in silence. They can improve without being seen. They can stay faithful to the process while the world sees nothing. And eventually, that kind of person becomes hard to ignore. Give everything to the process. Give nothing to fear. A winning mind is not born. It is trained, and now all the pieces come together. Train daily until winning becomes natural. If you have listened this far, remember this. You do not need to control every situation to win in life. You need to control the mind you bring into each situation. That is where real power begins. Not in perfect conditions, not in constant approval, not in never failing, not in always feeling ready. Real power begins when you can pause before reacting, when you can stay clear under pressure, when you can think strategically instead of moving blindly, when you can feel emotion without obeying it, when you can build confidence through evidence, when you can turn failure into fuel, when you can protect your attention, when you can build daily standards, when you can understand people without losing yourself, when you can adapt without losing your core, and when you can give everything to the process without being owned by the result. That is a trained mind. So take these 4 principles with you. Clarity over chaos. When life becomes loud, return to what you can control. Discipline over emotion. Feel what you feel, but let your standards lead. Process over outcome. Care about results, but build your identity through effort. Adaptation over ego. Keep your values. Upgrade your methods. Now, here is your challenge for the next 72 hours. Day 1. When pressure appears, do not react immediately. Pause. Write down what you can control and choose one next action. Day 2. Do one difficult thing before you do something easy. Train your mind to move before comfort takes over. Day 3. 1. Past failure and turn into it a lesson. Write what happened, what it taught you, and what you will do differently. Do not just listen to this audiobook. Use it, train with it. Return to it when your mind becomes noisy, because strength is not built once. It is repeated until it becomes natural. If this audiobook helped you see your mind differently, subscribe to Inner Power Audio for more deep audiobooks on discipline, self-mastery, emotional control, focus, and inner strength. Like this video if it gave you clarity. Share it with a friend who is fighting through pressure right now. And comment below, I train my mind first. Train your mind first, because when the mind is trained, no situation owns you.